Hello everyone, welcome back to the Chance Malillo Show, and today we're going to be rebuting Bill Nye's abortion video. So he made a video like a decade ago, quite a while ago, about how women should have the right to have abortion, and today we're going to be just refuting all of his claims that he has in his video. Let's jump right in.
Many more hundreds of eggs are fertilized than become humans. Eggs get fertilized, and by that I mean sperm get accepted by ova a lot. But that's not all you need. You have to attach to the uterine wall, the inside of a womb, a woman's womb. But if you're going to hold that as a standard, that is to say, if you're going to say when an egg is fertilized, it's therefore has the same rights as an individual, then whom are you going to sue? Whom are you going to imprison? Every woman who's had a fertilized egg pass through her? Every guy whose sperm has fertilized an egg and then it didn't become a human? Have all these people failed you? It's just a reflection of a deep scientific lack of understanding.
No, Bill Nye, because that's a natural process. When doing an abortion, when performing an abortion, it is not a biological thing that just happens naturally with eggs passing out. It is literally killing a human being, and you can look this up. Look up an abortion video. It is not just a natural process. You have to have tweezers and equipment to tear off the baby's limb from limb, and it is very graphic. This is not a natural process. This is the direct killing of an innocent, unborn human being.
You literally, or you apparently literally don't know what you're talking about.
No, Bill Nye, I don't think you know what you're talking about, because you don't know what a natural process is versus a intentional process. Again, the intentional process, killing a child. A natural process is things being passed on. By that is not intentionally killing a already alive, conceived human being.
And so when it comes to women's rights with respect to their reproduction, I think you should leave it to women. It's really, you cannot help but notice. I mean, I'm not the first guy to observe this. You have a lot of men of European descent passing these extraordinary laws based on ignorance.
Whoa. Bill Nye, did you just say of European descent? What is the point of that? Like, seriously, what is the point of that? Are you being racist, or are you saying, oh, because they're white, they don't have an opinion, only the woman can have an opinion? This is kind of a very sexist argument, wouldn't you say?
I know nobody likes abortion, okay? But you can't tell somebody what to do. I mean, she has rights over this.
Okay, Bill Nye, why does no one like abortion? You say nobody likes abortion, but why? Why do people not like abortion? And I think that this is a very big point to raise up, because you can defend abortion, but when you say nobody likes it, why is that? Want to know why? Because they inherently know this is murdering a living thing. It is living, but then what is that thing? And they self-consciously know you are murdering a human. And that is wrong. That's why they have to say nobody likes it, because emotionally, people have hearts. People are not going to think, oh, abortion's a great thing, because everyone knows that you're murdering an innocent human being. They just try to justify it, and we see this from Bill Nye right here.
You wouldn't know how big a human egg was if it weren't for microscopes, if it weren't for scientists.
Bill Nye, literally who cares? I'm going to be quite honest here. We do not base value upon a human being on how big they are, right? So saying we can only see it through a microscope does no good to your argument, because human value is not dependent on of how many cells you are or how big you are. If that was true, then we would look less upon a newborn than we would, you know, a 40-year-old, because the 40-year-old is just biologically made of more cells than a newborn is, but they're still of the same moral worth. We should not be valuing human beings just upon how big or small they are. But I also think that Bill Nye is being very hypocritical, because if you were to ask Bill Nye, well, Bill Nye, what about a 6-week-old fetus? You could see a 6-week-old fetus just visually. You don't need a microscope. But Bill Nye will still say abortion is still acceptable. So this is more of just like an emotionally charged, non-logical argument that Bill Nye is bringing up. Human value does not depend on how big you are, period. What part of healthier societies comes from murdering innocent children in the womb? Like, I'm being honest, like, how does that make a society better? Wouldn't it make a society worse if you're killing the people that are supposed to replenish the society by birth, right? In the United States, we have a huge underpopulation problem with people not having enough kids. So Bill Nye he's not understanding that we're not against the woman. We're for the children. We're for the unborn. Plus, there are hundreds and there are thousands pregnancy clinics that would love to help women that are pro-life, that try to help women to get through the birthing progress, instead of just murdering their children, which an abortion clinic does.
And I understand that you have deeply held beliefs, and you want to, and it really is ultimately out of respect for people, in this case, your perception of unborn people. I understand that. But I really encourage you to look at the facts. And I know people are now critical of the expression fact-based. But what's wrong with that?
Yeah, Bill Nye, let's look at the facts. Okay, Moore and Persuade, the Developing Human Clinically Oriented Embryology, 8th edition. Human development begins fertilization. Bang. Okay, Langman's Medical Embryology, 11th edition. Development begins with fertilization. Let's look at Steve Andrew Jacobs, which was a study done in 2018 at the University of Chicago Desertion, which surveyed 5,502 biologists from 1,058 institutions worldwide that said 95% of all biologists agree that human life begins at conception. So Bill Nye, let's look at the science and become pro-life, because your position is not being held up by science at all.
Really be objective about this. We have other problems to solve, everybody. Come on.
Other problems to solve, Bill Nye? The amount of abortions annually is around 100 million. That is like quadruple, quintuple the amount of people that died in the Holocaust. And you're saying that there are other problems to solve. This is the most biggest massacre in human history. And we're wiping it off our soldiers, saying, oh, this is no big deal. The slaughter of the unborn is a Holocaust. It is the biggest Holocaust in all of history. And we need to fight this as Christians, as conservatives, as people on the pro-life side. We need to keep fighting for the unborn, and hopefully one day we can be in a society where murdering kids in the womb is not a norm. Thank you all so much for watching. God bless you all.